Hello everyone, welcome to Literature Camp, a channel for the preparation of UGC NET and SET in English literature. I am Debarghya Chakraborty. This is my fifth class on Unit 6 of UGC NET syllabus, that is English in India. I have created a playlist where you can watch all the classes. The topic of our today's discussion is Indian University Act and Sadler Commission. So this class is going to be very much important. So let's start this class. Indian University Act 1904. I hope you will make notes of all the points I'm making. So be ready with a pen and paper. Indian University Act 1904. This act was introduced by Lord Curzon. Introduced by Lord Curzon. But before this act, Indian University Act 1904, there was a commission. Yes, this is something that we need to know. What was the name of the commission? Indian University Commission. Indian University Commission 1902. This commission was made under the instruction of Lord Curzon, who was the viceroy of that time. So, who was the viceroy of that time? It was Lord Curzon. Under his instruction, this commission was made. And who was the chairperson of Indian University Commission? This is something that we need to know. It was Thomas Riley. Please make a note of it. Thomas Riley was the chairperson of this commission, Indian University Commission 1902. So this is something that we need to remember. Now I shall be focusing on Indian University Act 1904. Recommendations. So what were the recommendations of Indian University Act 1904? Number 1 point is universities were to place a greater emphasis on education and research. So this is number 1 point. So universities were to place a greater emphasis. So emphasis on education and research. This is number 1 point. Second point, the number of university fellows and their terms of office were reduced. The number of university fellows and their terms of office were reduced. And the majority of fellows were to be nominated by government. Yes, so the majority of fellows were to be nominated by government. So you can understand what were the recommendations. They have given much more power, or they have given emphasis on the government who will recommend. All right, so governmental instruction is something very much given priority. Number 3 point is the government was to have the authority to veto university senate regulations and to amend or pass regulations on its own. Yes, the governmental instruction is something which they have recommended. Number 3 point is very much significant point. The government was to have the authority to veto university senate regulations and to amend or pass regulations on its own. Yes. Next point, conditions for affiliation of private colleges were to be tightened. This is something that is important. The conditions for affiliation of private colleges were to be tightened, and a 5-year grant of 5 lakh rupees was to be made available for the improvement of higher education and universities. This is again very much important. So 5 lakh rupees each year will be available for the improvement of higher education and universities. So point number 4 is something that we need to remember, right? So I hope you have written down all the points. These are all significant points uh, made by Indian University Act 1904. Next, the contribution of Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Yes, the contribution is something very much important. We need to uh, look at it. Gokhale, who was Gokhale? Who was Gopal Krishna Gokhale? He was a social reformer who prepared a bill on 16th March 1911. And again, we need to remember the date and year. You know how much important the date and the year is from the point of view of UGC NET syllabus or UGC NET examination, right? So Gokhale prepared a bill on 16th March 1911. We need to remember the date, in which he suggested to the government that primary education should be provided free and compulsory to girls and boys up to the age group 6 to 10. He suggested to the government that primary education should be should be provided free and compulsory, should be made free and compulsory to the girls and boys up to the age group of 6 to 10. All right. So his emphasis on primary education from the age group 6 to 10, and yes, primary education was made free and compulsory. Next point, Sadler Commission. Again, this is something very much important. Sadler Commission 1917 to 1919. All right. So what was about it? It was set to investigate the present and the future state of Calcutta University. We know very much well Calcutta University was established in 1857. So this commission, the Sadler Commission, was was set to investigate the present and the future state of Calcutta universities. So the educational affairs of Calcutta University. This is number 1 point. Second point, relieving relieving universities or university or Calcutta University from the burden of overseeing secondary education, so that they may focus on higher education. So university was a place where secondary education was also there and higher education was also there. But this commission, the Sadler Commission, they recommended to relieve the universities from the burden of overseeing secondary education, so that they may focus on higher studies, higher education. All right. So you can understand, Sadler Commission was set to investigate the educational affairs of Calcutta University. This is number 1. Second point, they wanted to relieve the universities from the burden of overseeing secondary education, so that the university can focus on higher education. So this point is very much significant that you need to keep in mind. So next point is something very much important. The contribution of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Yes. Who was Raja Ram Mohan Roy? Raja Ram Mohan Roy is called the father of modern India. He is called the father of modern India. Plus, he is called the father of Bengal Renaissance. Father of Bengal Renaissance. His contribution to English in India is immense, is very significant. So the contribution of Raja Ram Mohan Roy, number one point that we need to remember is Raja Ram Mohan Roy addresses a letter to Lord Amherst. This name we need to remember. Addresses a letter to Lord Amherst to plead for modern Western education in India. All right. So please make a note of it. This point that we need to remember. Raja Ram Mohan Roy addresses a letter to Lord Amherst to plead for the modern Western education in India. Secondly, in 1822, all right, in 1822, what happened? He founded a school based on English education. He founded a school on English education. All right. Next point that we need to remember is in 1825. In 1825, he established Vedanta College. Vedanta College, where courses in both Indian writing and Western social physical sciences were offered. So this year is something that we need to remember. 1825, he established Vedanta College, where courses in both Indian learning and Western social and physical sciences were offered. So try to understand. In 1800, Fort William College in Calcutta was established. All right, and for the first time, English was taught in that college. Then in 1817, Hindu College was set up in Calcutta, right, for English education. Then in 1825, Raja Ram Mohan Roy established a college called Vedanta College, where courses in both Indian learning and Western social and physical sciences were offered. So the contribution of Raja Ram Mohan Roy is something that is very immense, is very important. So this is all about my today's class on Indian University Act and Sadler Commission. I hope you have written down all the points. If you are new to my channel, let me tell you, I have created this channel, Literature Camp, for the preparation of UGC NET and SET in English literature. If you have internet pack, you can simply watch the classes. Thanks for your attention.